Hi everyone, Svetlana Sotak here, and today I'm going to show you how to make these super adorable tiny foldover pouches. This sweet little pouch finishes at 3.5 inches wide by approximately 3.25 inches tall by 1 inch deep, and it would make a really lovely place to store your sewing notions or supplies, or it could definitely be used as a super adorable little coin pouch. To make this pouch, you will need 2 panels of quilting cotton for the exterior of the pouch, 2 panels for the lining, and 2 panels of the inner facing. Now I'm using Pellon SF101 for my inner facing, but any medium weight fusible inner facing will work. And all the panels are 5 inches wide by 6 inches tall. You will also need a 3.5 inch long either ribbon or leather lace. I'm using a 1/8 inch wide leather lace, and this is going to be for our closure loop, and you will of course need a button. Let's start by fusing inner facing to the wrong side of our exterior panels. So place your panel right side down. Now place the sticky part of the inner facing along the wrong side of the panel like so, and then bring the iron down, adhering the inner facing in place. Make sure you just place it down, hit it with some steam, lift it up, and place it down again. So don't do any of these motions so you don't move the inner facing. So place it down, lift up. Now stack the 2 exterior panels and the 2 linings on top of each other, making sure you place them right sides together like so. Here we go. Actually, I'll keep my linings on the bottom. Place them all on top of each other. And now I'm going to use my ruler and a fabric marking pen to mark a 1/2 inch corner along, or 1/2 inch square along each bottom corner like so. 1/2 inches right here. And now I will use sharp fabric shears to cut out these corners, cutting through all 4 layers. All right, and this is what my panels look like at this point. My 2 exterior panels and my 2 linings are right here. Now next step is to bring our closure loop, form it into this loop like so, and I'm going to add it to the top edge of one of the exterior panels. So I'm going to fold it in half like so, pinch it gently up on top, and this will mark the middle point of the panel for me. And I'm going to place this loop right side down along this top edge right here, and I will use a sewing clip to hold my loop in place. Now make sure the loop is not twisted. When you placed it here, you want it to look nice and straight right here. And I'm now going to take it to the sewing machine and stitch this loop in place by going back and forth a few times with my sewing machine. Now I'm going to place my exterior panels right sides together like so, line up all the edges, so I make sure everything is neatly lined up, and I will use a few sewing clips to hold my panels together. And I'm going to do the same with my lining panel. So again, right sides together and clip along the edges, the 2 side edges and a bottom edge. And I'm going to take these panels to my sewing machine and stitch along the side edges and the bottom edge using 1/4 inch seam allowance, back stitching at the beginning and end. And I'm going to do the same thing for both panels. The only difference is in my lining, I'm going to leave about a 2 inch opening in the bottom seam. So I marked it right here. This will be my opening. That's where I will not sew. So I'll start stitching right here, back stitch, go to the end, stitch all the way up, stitch on the other side, and come right here. and have this opening in the bottom seam. And now that we stitched all the way around the side and bottom edges of both exterior panel as well as the linings, it's time to press the seams open. I have my iron set to cotton setting and I'm using some steam as well. And I'm going to first press over the panels like so to set my stitches. Just press all the way around, and now I'm going to press the seams open one panel at a time. And to do that, I'm just going to place it right here on my pressing board, open up the seam, first finger press, and now use my iron to set it in place. And go all the way around like that on all the other seams. Once I'm done here, I'll turn it the other way and again press the seams open on this side. My seams on both exterior panel as well as the lining are pressed open, and now it's time to box the corners. So to do that, I'm going to reach inside the pouch like so and flatten one side seam over the bottom seam like that. See how it forms a little nice flat straight edge right here, and I'm going to use a sewing clip to clip this corner in place so it doesn't shift on me. And I'm going to do the same for the other side. Again, just open it up, flatten the seam, the side seam over the bottom seam, like so, and clip to hold it in place. And this is what it looks like. We'll be taking it to the sewing machine in a minute, but I'm just going to do the same for my lining. Okay, so now I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and stitch along these clipped edges right here using 1/4 inch seam allowance, backstitching at the beginning and end. Now my gussets are nicely closed, and it's time to turn my exterior panel right side out, like so. I'm going to push out the corners, make them nice and neat. Here we go. And now I'm going to place this exterior panel inside the lining. So again, the lining is wrong side out and the exterior is a right side out. And I'm going to place the exterior panel inside the lining like so. Push it in gently. And I'm going to first line up the side seams, one seam over the other. I keep the seams opened right here, and I'm going to use a sewing clip to hold them in place. And I'll do the same on the other side. Here we go. Make sure the seam is nicely opened. Here we go. And now I'm just going to add a few clips around the top edge just to make sure it doesn't shift while I'm sewing. And I want to make sure that my button loop closure is nice and straight right here, pushed down at a 90-degree angle. And I will put a clip right here to hold it in place. And just add one more clip on the other side. And now again, I'm going to stitch all the way around this top edge using 1/4 inch seam allowance and backstitching at the end. And I'll be removing the clips as I sew. right, I stitched all the way around. I'm going to now simply finger press this seam open, the one on top, right here along the top edge. You could definitely use an iron for this step, but I find that finger pressing works fine. So just finger press it right here. And now I'm going to turn the pouch right side out through this hole in the lining. I will tug on it a little bit, tug on the lining and the exterior, just gently smoothing out this edge right here between the panels. And as you can see, I still have this hole in the lining right here. I will close it in a little bit. And now I'm going to gently push the lining inside the exterior panel, like so. Make sure the corners are neatly matching the other corners. And I'm going to roll this top seam between my fingers and my thumb just to make it nice and straight, like so. Roll it and then kind of run your fingers and your thumb across it to make it nice and crisp, like so. And now I'll add a few clips to hold the two layers together. I usually add clips at my side seams to make sure it's all lined up, like so. And now I'm going to stitch along this top edge using 1/8 inch seam allowance. And I found out that the best way to do it is actually turn the pouch lining side out, like that. And this way I have nice, easy access to this seam right here, because I want to make sure that I can see what it looks like on this front edge. So I will start right here. I will back stitch at the end when I get to the same point. And this is quite tight around here, so just take your time, sew slowly, and you should be fine. I will clip off any extra thread ends right here. And it's also time to stitch this opening in the lining closed. So because we pressed the seams open, they neatly line up over each other like so. And I'm just going to use a clip to hold it in place, and I'll stitch right here along this edge using 1/8 inch seam allowance, back stitching at the beginning and end. Just make sure you pull your exterior panel away from the lining so you don't get it caught in the stitches. And now it's time to turn the pouch right side out. I went ahead and pressed along this top stitched edge right here to make it nice and crisp. And all we need to do now is fold the pouch over by about 1 inch right here. And I'm going to use my fabric marking pen to mark the placement of the button. So I hold my folded edge right here, pull on this button loop, and just mark where my button will go. So this is where my button should be. And I'm going to use a hand sewing needle and number 8 pearl cotton to attach my button in place. And I just like to attach it through the exterior panel only, so I don't have any ugly stitching on the inside of the lining. So just through the exterior, but it's fine if you want to go through the lining as well. All right, and that's it. The pouch is all finished. Thanks for watching, guys. Please push a like button if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming video tutorials.